guys, what's going on? Let me show you what we got going on our quarter panel replacement here. I've been working on fitting the trunk extension here first. I had two spots where with my spot weld cutter, I went through both panels. Don't do that. First time using a spot weld cutter, it was a little bit of a learning curve. My mistake. I left it on there too long and I went right through both panels. But I made the best out of this. Because what I did with those two holes that were too big, I ran a bolt through there. It's helped locate and bring this panel closer together. Nice. And then I shot a couple sheet metal screws in there, and that really helped draw it right where it needs to be. At least where I think it needs to be. I had to cut more of the inner wheel well out than I really wanted to, but you have to in order to get the trunk extension in, because it goes behind the wheel well here. So it is what it is. This is a bigger patch than I want to make like fabricated junk for. So unfortunately I ordered a whole new inner wheelhouse and I'm gonna template it, cut my new wheelhouse and splice that into here. Okay, now on this side. So I had the little hole in my inner quarter panel here, which I cut out. Great. This side, where I cut all the rust out of it, is now going to be no big deal because I just ordered a whole new inner wheel well, and this will come with the new inner wheel well. Great news. So this section I can make an easy patch for because I'll have an already contoured inner wheel well where I already have to cut the back of it off for this, and I'll just cut a section of the front off to patch this, but it's not going to include anything for here. So I got to patch this up. I'm just going to make a little square block, but weld that in there. We'll be good to go. The rest of the inner quarter looks great. Fantastic. Let me show you what I got going on up here. You see here, I cut the outer wheelhouse where the flange of it gets spot welded to the inner wheelhouse. I cut it here because all this trunk stuff is mounted to here, even this guy. So what I'm gonna do is, I think I'm gonna cut the new wheelhouse and then butt weld this flange on here so I don't have to take these trunk mounting stuff off. I'll seam it in here, and I'll seam it in here and across here. Shoo-wee. I think that's the plan. And then everything else will get spot welded right to the inner quarter and the inner wheelhouse. And it'll be great. Obviously, all this stuff just takes a ton of time. Cutting, fitting, there's so much fitting. You fit the panel over and over and over and over and over, and you just keep clamping it and sheet metal screwing it and fitting it and taking it off and trimming it and fitting it, and it's no big deal. I'm having a good time doing it, but it takes a bunch of time. So I'm not gonna film all this. I'll check back in once I've got something kind of doing something, because you're gonna get bored watching me fit 7 billion times. Alright, this is all test fit in here. Got a couple sheet metal screws holding everything tight, and I fit the quarter over top of it, but I'm still waiting on, I ordered the inner wheelhouse to put some patches in there, so before I permanently weld all this stuff and then start really fitting the quarter the rest of the way to finish welding the quarter on, waiting on some parts. But I don't want to stop working on the project, so we're just going to shift the more rust repair and dive right into the floor here. The floor is in a great shape. But right here at the toe board area, where there would be some seam sealer along this patch, I think from the fire, it probably cooked and burned all the seam sealer out of this thing, and then it caused it to get some rust in here. Now this is like super, yeah, a little more there. I picked at it and wire wheeled at it and made it flake off more. I mean, all things considered, considering my other cars, this is super minor rust. My 69 got almost full floor pans, and the 72, you saw the videos where I did 4 patches for each of like the wheel well areas. So what I'm gonna do here, which you know, isn't factory correct, but that's okay. We're not doing anything factory correct here. I think I'm gonna slice like a little rectangle portion out here, just where the bottom of this panel's rusted and the front of this panel's rusted, and I'm just gonna make a, you know, rectangle template and weld that in there. That'll be great. And then on this side, the floor pan itself is really good, except for that little corner over there. And then I'll bend another little rectangle template in here too. It's gonna be a little trickier. It's not gonna be that big of a problem. we'll get her in there. Check back in a little bit. Just gonna slice up more sections of old used sheet metal, and it's gonna be great. Alright, well, if you're looking for an example of a torque box that you should replace or repair, this is it. That's what one looks like that you should definitely be doing some fixing on. This side, a little bit better. I mean, it's still not great, but it's better than this side. I have the way to repair this. The solution is simple. Repaired, can't even tell. All right, guys, so we've been working on the 70 like crazy, a couple hours every night here and there throughout the week, and let me show you what we got done. So as you can see, I got my floor patches in where the toe boards were rusted out. Beautiful. I just bent them up out of some scrap metal, butt welded them in there, and they are perfect. We also went through and wire wheeled the original floor pans, and they are mint. You know, obviously, besides where we had to do some patches up there. We also went ahead and I wire wheeled all of the firewall. So that's all cleaned up. Couple holes here where the heater box is, but that's okay. We're gonna make a big block off plate for this whole area. So that'll be good. And wire wheeled the trunk. Couple little holes in the back here. No big deal. I got a solution for this. But overall, pretty nice. Not too shabby. And also hit that tail panel real quick, which also looks halfway decent. Big hole right there. We'll fix on that. It's all right. But I haven't done anything with the bottom side of this car yet. So that's what we're gonna do today. Now my go-to for this is always the death wheel with a wire wheel brush attachment on it. I like to really take my life into my own hands here. I've done this 3 times, and every time it's questionable. It's living life on the edge. So it is what it is. That's all I got. Gonna get under here, start wire wheeling. This car has the gnarliest undercoating in the planet on it. So that's gonna be fun. Probably take 20 years off my life.
346 minutes later.
All right, guys. So I'm wire wheeling away, and my wire wheel has gotten ground down further than I like it, so it's not really doing the thing anymore. Unfortunately, I crawled out of the car and had a little bit of wheel left, so got a little too ambitious, and I hit this passenger side quarter panel, and look what I found here. Oh yeah. So I touched on that little bit of area where they had some Bondo in here, see what was happening, and no wonder why this quarter panel's in great shape. It's new in like 1980. Turns out I am a professional. Here I am spending all this time fitting and trying to butt weld my panel in, and these guys are just laying it over top. Sweet. The part that's my favorite, like the 1/8 inch thick layer of Bondo through this whole section. This is gonna have to be fixed somehow. But the underneath so far is wire wheeling up just fine. The frame rails, everything super clean. No hokey repair jobs done under there. So other than the patch panel we found in the outer wheelhouse, zip screw deal, and that disaster, we haven't found anything else like crazy alarming on this thing. But that sucks. Okay. So as you can see, I have the quarter panel fit on here. A little bit of clamp action, a little bit of sheet metal screw, self-tapper action. I got it where I like it. I think it looks very nice. Pretty happy with the fit on the wheel well and stuff. I did have to bend the lip of the quarter out a little bit to get it to actually fall over the wheel well and then kind of fold her back up. But that's the spot. Now, if I was gonna buy a quarter panel for this, I probably would have bought the one with more of the sail panel roof line here, and with like the trunk area would have been nice, but I had this, you know what I mean? I already had the metal. It came with the 72, and I'm not spending a lot of money on this. This is like, I'm already deeper into this than I ever wanted to be. I didn't really want to do any of this. But here we are. That's okay. The inner and outer wheelhouses are done. The trunk extension's done. This is just a test fit on the quarter panel. If you look at it from the other side, I still haven't trimmed it up to where I need it. I just got some paint mark going on here to show me where the quarter is right now. And I still have to decide where I'm gonna cut the car and where I'm gonna cut the quarter. So that's kind of where we're at. I'd really like to probably use as much of this quarter panel as I can. And my dumbass, when I trimmed off, I came with some of the lip here, and I just zipped it off because I knew I wasn't gonna use it and it was gonna make trying to fit it harder for me. And I took too much off. So this seam is gonna be very interesting. When I go to weld it, it's going to be right on the corner and then up on the side, whatever. I'm no expert. I'm just making this up as I go, so cut me some slack. Pretty happy with the location of this right now. Gonna do some cutting and trimming and fitting and figuring out where I'm gonna actually weld this thing on, and we'll be back in a little bit here. Alright guys, so after a few days on and off of messing with this and fitting it and trimming it and bending it and twisting it, I finally have the quarter right where I like it. And I'm about as ready as I'm gonna get to weld this thing up. So, wish me luck. See, the quarter panel is done, and boy I'm stoked on how this thing came out. I gotta be totally honest with you. When I first cut the quarter off, I was a little hesitant that maybe I was in over my head. I have zero experience besides working on the other cars and just cutting them apart and figuring it out myself on how to do body work or paint or any of that stuff. So I've just been learning as I go, and I am so happy with the way that this came out, and I'm glad I decided to tackle it. Don't use this as like a how-to. I'm not saying that I would 100% recommend doing everything exactly the way I do. Some of what I do, I have no idea what I'm actually doing. I just wind up getting lucky in the end. So I wouldn't use it as a how-to, but I would use it as motivation to run out to your garage and cut the side off of your car, because if you want to do it and you've got the willpower to do it, you'll get it done and it'll look great and you'll be happy with it. And the car will be out on the road. You won't still be waiting for a body shop to finish it for 2 years. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. We got a lot more coming up on this car. We've got more stuff coming up on the other cars. So make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.